This is Niamh Bushnell from SoapBox Labs, and I'm here today at the Digital Summit in Dublin with my colleague Dr. Martyn Farrows, our Chief Operating Officer. Martyn just moderated a panel on ethics in AI, so we thought we'd take the opportunity to talk to Martyn about privacy and kids and AI and ethics alongside Dr. Veronica Barassi, who is at the University of London, is an anthropologist and is a specialist in children's data privacy. Let's start by asking Veronica about children's data privacy. So Veronica, why is privacy and digital rights so important for children?
So protecting children's privacy has always been an important value for society. But today it's even more important because we are seeing a gathering of large amounts of personal data from before conception. And this data is gathered from a variety of sources and include the health data of the child, educational data, home data, social media data, and all this data can be aggregated into a unique ID profile that potentially can follow the child across a lifetime. So protecting children now is very important because we can protect their right to self-expression and moral autonomy and also non-discrimination.
Martyn, so when we talk about SoapBox Labs, we talk about privacy by design. What does that mean, and what are we doing for kids to protect their rights and their privacy that maybe others in the industry are not thinking about?
Sure, so if you think about what is privacy by design, it means respecting the individual privacy rights of the person throughout the engineering process, right? So for us, in terms of product design, we have to think about, well, how can we design a product that, for example, makes no attempts at any stage to identify the individual identity of the child? And if you think about that approach, it's almost like the reverse of what is out there currently in terms of voice assistants for adults. So voice assistants for adults rely on knowing who you are. You have to have an account in order to be able to start using the voice assistant. All of the data that is then collected is then associated with your account, associated to you, and it builds up a personal profile about you. What we're saying is that actually you can have the utility of that voice interface without needing to allocate or identify the individual or to associate personal data with that individual child.
So Veronica, we've done some work together on privacy and children's rights. We wrote a paper together for the UN High Commissioner of Human Rights. Why did you want to collaborate with SoapBox Labs on that? And where do you see us working as an industry to improve rights for children globally?
Well, I personally believe that privacy by design should be the way forward. At the moment, we are actually starting to question the amounts of data that have been collected over the last 5 to 10 years and how this data can impact on individual rights. So I think that by ensuring that we design technologies in a way that is actually anonymizing the user and that is not going to impact in any way on their life is an ethical responsibility that companies should start embracing and should be one of the first practices, especially with all the trend in AI innovation. If we really want to secure AI ethics, we need to start first by changing the business model of surveillance capitalism that has been dominating the last 10 years.
So is SoapBox Labs a company that is particularly different in this area, or you seem to be very strongly supportive of our work? Tell me more about that.
Well, I think that in your special case, what I find fascinating is that you understand the power of voice and the problems that come with voice prints, and you're responsible about that. And a voice print can be extracted into biometric data. It can be used to identify different features in the child to predict health issues or a social and class background. Again, those predictions, they're not necessarily accurate, and they could harm the child. So I think that what I really enjoyed writing a report with you on this issue, because I believe in good practices, and I believe that we need to change the way we are seeing and operating with technologies.
So Martyn, we're seeing articles online about kids being 40% of the new users of technology and 40% of the new internet users are kids. We've woken up obviously 6 years ago at this point to the fact that kids needed specific voice technology for their voices in terms of accuracy. We also have acknowledged the need for safety that's specific to kids with the way that we've implemented privacy by design. Where is all of this going in the industry? Where are we taking it next? And where is the industry, the voice industry as a whole, taking privacy?
You know, if you look at the regulatory environment for children, particularly as it relates to personal data, it's much stricter than it is for adults. And even in the voice space, you know, all voice data under COPPA, for example, is considered personal data, personally identifiable information. What that does is it forces us to be more innovative about the types of solutions that we can build. So we can't take the approach that you might take for adults, where you're relying on the collection of personal data in order to provide a service. What we have to do is to say, well, let's find a solution that doesn't require the collection of personal data. The logical conclusion of that is to take all of this speech technology offline. If you take it offline, there is no personal data connected to the cloud. The personal data that's collected, if it is collected, stays on device. The owner of the data or the parent has control over that, and it cannot be used for any other purpose. So the logical conclusion in the industry as a whole, I think, is starting to move towards these offline models where personal data and privacy is a non-issue.
Thank you, Martyn. So that's it from the Digital Summit in Dublin. Thank you for watching and for being interested in SoapBox Labs. You can find more on our website, soapboxlabs.com. Thank you.